Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? Welcome back to another excellent episode of the Model Car Enthusiast podcast. Okay, hobby dude, what number is this one? I forgot already.
14.
Is it 14? Okay.
Hold on, I gotta take
Or
my
is it
shoes off
15?
for this one.
Might be 15. We get
It's
all
15.
confused
Might
after
be
13.
15.
Might be 15. I don't know.
Hey, it's not important. We're here.
That's all that matters. And we are here and we have something to discuss. And we have two guests on. Again, a comeback is Jim Drew. Thanks for coming back on, Jim. And Chris from Scale Speed Garage. Y'all know who he is. And you're also a writer, contributor to Auto Modeler Magazine.
I am.
So, and then the regular, we got Pappy, we got Arterake and Hobby Dude and Luka, I guess. So
Yeah.
I guess we can make a charge on this. And the topic is, and this is a heated one, I'm sure we're gonna get some comments on this one.
Get some
We
feedback
want
on
to
this.
talk about our feelings about what we think about some of the model contests having a no sweeps rule. And if you're not sure about what no sweeps is, it is basically if someone has a group of models, two or more models in one class, that if their models, if the judges are looking at them and they go, well, these are the best ones, but if they've won a place, they cannot place anymore. So they can only, they can't win first, second, or third, or second and third or stuff, even though their model might be the better of all the models on the table. That they can't sweep it. So hopefully everybody understands that. And I've done videos on this, and people who watch this channel regularly probably know my view on it, and I will say a few things about it. But we're gonna start with Mr. Pappy Fred Henry here.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. And then we'll go around because everybody's got an opinion on this one, I think. So, Fred, what is your thoughts on the no sweeps rule?
Well, a lot. I go to a lot of shows, just like these gentlemen here do, and when you I see a lot of guys. Some guys will bring one model, some guys will bring multiple models to set on the table, and at the end of the day, are you number one? Are you there to have fun? Number two, are you there to collect an award? Or number three, are you there to have your model photographed if you're lucky enough to be at a show where a lot of us, we're contributors. I know myself, I know Chris, I know Mark. We've written for some of the bigger model magazines, Auto Modeler to start off with, but those three factors right there in a model show is really probably what I go to to a show for. But it's also for the camaraderie. But as far as these guys that bring multiple, they bring in totes and totes. It's either a collection. I feel like it's their collection. But at the end of the day, some guys walk out with armloads of hardware. And they may have put. I'm just going to say, they've got multiple classes, but for somebody to walk out with everything and nobody else gets anything, it's kind of, it draws a fine line with me, especially because me being a member of, ACME, as far as the Atlanta Car Modelers Enthusiast, we aren't we're an NNL style show, which it is a participant, the people that comes to our show, they're the ones that does the judging. Just like Jim was talking earlier before we started recording, they had a show yesterday, which he was one of the judges at their shows. And, people kind of get get their panties in a uproar about, well, I didn't, how come I didn't place, how come I didn't get an award because of this? Well, when you got it, once you put that model down, it's kind of the fine line of is, if it's NNL style, are the people going to be receptive to that? And if it's a judged, like an IPMS show where it's not an NNL style, it's going to be to the discretion of the judges. And that's where, like with our model clubs and stuff, I feel that, to prohibit, or not prohibit, but to keep that from happening as far as a no sweep. That's where, once you do your registration, you come to the table. It's hard on a show day to keep track of what, you don't ever look at what they've got. They bring it in, they sit it on the table, and then boom, next thing you know. But that's where, if you're the or the host club, it would be a good thing to go around, see what's on the table, see what these these folks have brought to the table, and say, okay, well, we got a lot in this class. Would you like? But as far as people getting, I hate to say it, pissy, but with that, because it's basically, it's not. We're all there to do one thing: have fun. And as far as we were talking about the NNL coming up here in just a few weeks, whether we're going to come. I can't wait to go up there to that show. Unfortunately, this year I'm not going to be able to make it because I can't find my truck keys because we moved. So we're, being able to see the outcome of that and all the beautiful models that'll be on the table. But, when people start griping, about, a sweep, somebody swept the car, swept every award away, first, second, and third. One of the ways I feel like, to prevent that, whether it's NNL or whether it's a judged event, is bring your best A game. I know we're in our show at Acme each year is the NNL style. And I mean, when you've got 800 to 900, I think our biggest account was close to 900. Everybody's like, well, the same guys are always going to be the ones that win. Well, bring your A game to the table. Don't, number one, your paint better be pristine. It better not have a flaw. I mean, if these people that are coming to the shows, whether it's NNL or IPMS judged or just, or a club judged event, we know what to look for. I've been asked a number of times at IPMS shows where they don't have enough judges. Will some of you, that are participating in, would y'all judge? Sure. And I'm going to get down. You can call it rivet counting, which there's rivets in cars, but I'm more of a, and we are all of us here on the panel today are all automotive, but would you judge aircraft? No, I'm not going to judge aircraft, but I'm going to get down. But I know what to look for. I know I'm going to look at your paint. I'm going to look at your detail. I mean, I'm not going to pick your car up or truck or anything like that. I'm going to ask you to pick it up so I can see it. Presentation, is another thing. I want to see up under it. I don't want to see, all this, but I am going to go over that thing with a fine tooth comb. And at the end of the day, don't come to me and go, well, how come, so-and-so, did better than me? Well, get ready for, I'm not going to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to tell you the truth and I ain't going to lie to you. So
yeah, that's the best way.
But, that's, but a no sweep, I mean, don't bring 1,000 models and go, well, how come I didn't win? We're here to have fun, guys. But, again, just bring your best A game, and hopefully you'll walk away with either a first, second, or or a top 10, like we do at the Acme each year. So, but that's my opinion.
Good opinion. Yeah.
Irv, how about yours?
How about you, Irv?
Well, honestly, I don't care. I think since the beginning of any kind of competition or show, when shows started, I think there's been, I think it's hard not to be biased on judging anything. I think, we tend to like what we like, and I think sometimes that does sneak in because it's human nature to like certain things. Personally, I don't. I'm not a overly competitive person, and most of my stuff, I'm more interested in the photography or how something looks, if it looks real. But if I was to judge a show, I would be more interested in basics like basic sanding of seams, basic no glue, more of these skill sets of is this person practicing good, clean hobby skill sets that to me are more important than whether the paint's extra shiny. I'd rather see really clean workmanship over anything else. Um, and so, that to me, but for me, this is probably the last year I'm going to start putting my stuff for display only. I'm not even going to compete anymore. It's not that important to me. Um, I do like the cars and coffee. I'm intrigued by that they're having model contests that are cars and coffee where they're just getting together and looking enjoying the hobby. But I know that there's a lot of guys who are competitive and they do want to compete, and I have no problem with that. I'm just not. I could go either way. I really don't care about awards that much. I mean, it's a wonderful to get them, but it's I don't build for them, so I don't really I don't build at that level anyway. That most of the time I don't worry about stuff like that because I'm not on the same level as some of you guys are. But I just it for me it just doesn't I don't really. But I grew up in that. A lot of us older guys. You if you got an award, you earned an award. You didn't get it just for showing up. You didn't get it because you had three in a class, or bring a
Yeah.
couple and they'll judge one of them. Back in the day, you had to have thick skin. You didn't win. You didn't earn it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's the
There
way it
you go.
was. That's kind of the way I grew up, and
Yep.
that's kind of the way. That's my viewpoint. I don't really.
Well, I tell you, Irvin, that right there, what you just said, says that you are not for the no sweeps.
I'm not. I'm not. But I don't. Like I said,
Well,
I'm not.
yeah, I
I'm
get what you're.
not big on any kind of judge shows. I mean, I like those shows. I like going to see them. I like going to look at them. But as far as my cars competing in them, I'm not at that level anyway. So I don't really don't. I set the bar low when I go. you know,
Play it safe.
yeah. So I'm not. Either I'm pleasantly surprised or I don't get disappointed. I'm more interested in how a model looks more so than everything works in it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind everything working in it, but it's got to look. It can't look like a toy to me.
No.
That's what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
interested in. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm just saying that's what I'm interested in. That's what I look for when I look at model cars.
Matt and I had a conversation prior to the recording today. We were talking about, well, I've got a background in 1-to-1 scale also, which most of us did. We probably cut our teeth. I've always been I love Pro Street. I do and that's about not really all that I build now on the table, but we were talking about earlier. The biggest award that I feel like I can have is if I can take and be creative enough to take this little chunk of plastic right here and turn it into something that once it's photographed, I'm fooling the untrained eye into people thinking that when I show them a photograph that's a real car. And
Yeah.
that's what Matt and I was talking about
It's
earlier
always fun to do.
was, someone asked me one time,
Without AI.
yeah, without AI,
Without
especially,
AI.
correct. But we were talking about, some of the guys that I grew up with. They knew I was a hot rodder, and now I'm 63. Am I still a hot rodder? Heck yeah, I'm still a hot rodder. And I show them all of my built models, and they're like, "Where in the heck are you storing these cars at?" And I'm sitting here going. I'm sitting here going in my bedroom or in our spare hobby. Or it's actually my hobby room. That's what I say. And then when I tell them it's actually at our new house, but they like, God, you got a huge garage. I'm sitting there going, dude, this is a model. And they're like, BS. That's not a model. I've done my job right there in creating a model that it brings to the untrained eye that looks like a real car.
Yep.
That's sweep enough for me right there. I'm like, wow, man. If you think that's a real car, come on over to the house. Let me show you the rest of them. So,
Yeah.
Now, my only correction to what I just said was I do like bizarre stuff. So just because I want something to look real, I still love abstract, like bizarre, there's no way this would work
big wheel.
kind of stuff. It's not I don't enjoy that stuff. It's just, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're big into the old '60s show rods, as we know. So
Yeah, we've all
but,
got our.
Well, I like that. I like those too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. So Jim, let's
Well,
and coming straight off of
start
being
off
a
right
judge-
away by saying no sweeps, huh? I don't. You spent all that time, all that effort, and you got 3 models down on one group, and they're all spectacular, and it's pretty much hands down you got all 3. But you're in a competition that has no sweeps. I find that you're giving the people below those 3 cars a participation trophy. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And you're punishing the person who spent all that time working into it. But that being said, I got so much water under my bridge that I'm with her. I don't do the competitions very much anymore because I'd much rather see, the younger guys coming up, like Fred, building some high quality stuff and putting it on the table. Sorry, Fred, I'm almost 70, so.
It's okay. I understand.
Anyway, like we discussed before this started, that I was my local club in Toledo had a competition yesterday, and it was a no sweeps competition. Fortunately, we didn't run into that problem due to the lower attendance, so we didn't have a problem with that. But I fought it, last year when we started planning the competition. I said, sorry, that's BS. Anybody brings that stuff to the table, they deserve, any accolades they get for that. So that's basically it for me. I'm just not a fan of no sweeps, and I've been in the, I love more NNL type competitions, just shows. I like to go to those more than anything. And the recent competitions that I've been on over the last couple of years were mainly, I would bring stuff that wasn't in competition at any of the shows. I haven't really built over the top in a couple of years now. I'm just trying to get production done because we have a finite amount of time, and I just want to get some stuff built at this point in my life.
It's like you've got ideas in your head. That's kind of something I'm going through. Just recently, a couple of models I want to get done, and I really want to get a bunch of them done here. And I'm like, every single one can't be that high tier, full detail, buffed out paint and stuff. I want this vision I have in my head out of my head and on the shelf.
Yeah, like right now,
a few.
I've stepped out of my comfort zone, and I'm working on the Surfer's Dragster in 25th scale right now.
Holy cow!
That's definitely not a Jim Drew car, but
no,
it'll be nice, but it won't be to the level of something I want to throw on a competition table. But it'll be to where I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's you stepping out of your comfort zone about 20 years ago is how you and I met. You did that Dan Fletcher Camaro that was amazing.
Oh yeah,
wow!
And that was on a dare, wasn't it?
Well, one of my best friends who's passed away, he was into drag racing, the super stocks and whatnot, and I went to the drags with him down in Norwalk, and that Summit Camaro shit was there, and I would just fell in love with that stupid thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty car. And Dan's such a nice guy. I mean, later on, after you and I got talking, I started going, when Dan would be here in Phoenix, and he let me take all kinds of pictures, and he totally remembered you, and he wanted to see that car. See the model.
I tried to show it to him the following year, but I could never cross paths with him for a
Yeah.
whole day.
Yeah, he gets busy he's
Yeah, he did.
been one of my heroes in super stock racing. You know, one of my favorites. I've been a big fan. But
Yeah, I got to
one day I
talk to him
still
in the
want to build
lineup,
that
but
car.
I didn't get to see him later.
Yeah, that's too bad. So
But right,
So-
I think it's effort should equal results. You know,
Yeah.
you're-
You know, I'm gonna piggyback on what Jim said just a minute ago, and he said the magic word I was looking for, and I'm glad Jim actually brought it up. Participation trophy.
Yeah.
A lot of the a lot of the shows now that I've been going to locally, of course, like our show at Acme, we do a top 10. A lot of the other local shows, they are judged, on the level of quality that each car is built. But of course, you give out first, second, and third, or a top 10 at those style shows. But here now, at a lot of the shows, you walk around and you may see and I know I'm actually proud to have one of his. Is one of the poker chip. Like if you've got a
yeah.
a YouTube channel like all of us have, and we're doing it at Acme each year when we go to a show locally. Each one of us that is at the show, we get I think Wayne gives out like 5 Acme Excellence in Modeling poker chips. And when we see something that really catches our eye at a show, that's we're laying that down on the table. We always kind of clear it with a club that's hosting the show that we go to, that we're going to be doing that, and they're always glad to have that that type, or that, I wouldn't call it an award, but that kind of
It's an appreciation token.
appreciation.
Recognition.
Right,
It's
right.
recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
recognition.
A lot of
You know-
them treat it as an award. I mean, sadly I forgot my poker chips yesterday, but I put 10 of them down at the
Yeah.
shows that I go to, and I
Yeah.
usually have at least half of them come back up to me and go, "Oh my God, thank you so much
Yeah.
for that. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah, I have.
that."
I've noticed.
Yeah, I
that
like
too.
those.
I think
Well,
the
and the
poker
thing about-
chip has become a really neat thing coming into our,
Yeah.
into the show.
It is, and honestly, I would rather. It means more to me to get something from my peers
Peers.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
than a
exactly.
judge
I
that
agree.
may or may not know
Right.
what they're looking at. So
Right.
but me, I always get with Hobby Do 007. I always give out 7 chips, and like Jim was saying, people come up and, oh man, thanks, that means a lot. And,
Mhm.
Well,
and I
back
try
in
to seek people out that give me one, because again, something from your peers. That's what I like about an NNL.
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day, Parts by
Something
Parts
from
used
your
to make
peers.
these miniature trophies and give them out back in the 80s.
I remember
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
remember
got
that.
a couple of them, and I was just completely blown away. In fact, I
Yeah.
said, "What the hell is this, Randy?" I was talking to Randy Durr. He goes, "Oh, you got one of those?" I said, "No, I got 2."
Our model club meeting every month. If you win, you get a trophy, the model of the month.
Those are cool. Those are absolutely
Just
cool.
some little model of the
Yeah.
month thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Model of the month.
yeah, to be reviewed by your peers. I got I can't remember which one I got. Now that we've moved, I've got a big. I've made like a challenge coin rack that I put all of the ones that I accumulate at shows on. Now my hobby room, which is still at kind of a disarray, I've still got stuff I got to build, but I'm going to eventually get them all up in there. But I've got some up above here that I've received over the past couple shows that I went to. I got one from Tim Casper at Acme a couple years ago, and I was like, thank you. And I was honored to have Tim Casper look at one of mine and
I
go,
bet.
great build.
Yeah.
So,
I got
He's
8 of
super
them in the
cool.
showcase behind me. On each of them has their own little pedestal. So yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, Hobby Dude, what is your opinion in no sweeps? What do you got to say about
Oh boy,
it? Here we go.
Irvin and I
Oh,
were
boy.
talking about this yesterday. Well, first
Strap
of all,
in.
as far as shows go, Irvin and I discussed yesterday. We were sitting around with another gentleman that was Mike, that is looking at starting a new channel. We were sharing with him, and the people that came up talked to us while we were doing that. The fellowship is one of the main things now.
Mhm.
I think more than any other time in my life. When I first started going to shows in the early 80s, yeah, there was a little competitive edge there. Now, I've gone to Acme in years past. If I didn't have a car ready, I wasn't going to rush it. I went for the shopping and mostly this right here, fellowship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, as far as no sweeps go, let me tell you a story. I shared this with Irv yesterday. In the early 60s, I thought I was a Major League Baseball player playing backyard baseball. And I tried out for our local Little League team, which, by the way, was sponsored by a store called Hobby Center. It was a hobby shop.
Mm.
And I tried out for the team with two other buddies of mine. Well, they made the team, and I didn't. And I didn't cry. I didn't whine. I wasn't upset. I was hurt, a little hurt, but I wasn't, that upset. All that made me do was get the mitt out, get out there, and play. And between the three of us playing, now Larry was a pitcher, one of the guys I tried out with. He was one of the pitchers. I wanted to play first base, but I was the catcher while we practiced and played for it till the next season. Not only did I make the team, but I made the catcher's spot for that team. The thing was, it inspired me to go work at it and do better. Today, kids, they go try out. You don't try out.
Mm-mm.
You go and sign up. You're automatically on the team, and if you don't win a game all year, participation trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really earn it? So I'm one of those that I don't recall ever putting more than one model in one category. I don't remember ever doing that. I understand they want to kind of spread it out, but again, like Jim was saying, it's a participation trophy at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there'll be some people that don't like that, but hey, if someone earns it, give it to them.
Oh yeah, because like for me, I mean, I'm usually only in one or two categories anyway. It's all race cars usually for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get
There's
3 or
been
4 in
a
a
few
category.
times I've entered 3 categories, but usually it's just 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of it. If someone earns it, then you give it to them. But I understand the concept, the point of what they want to do, fairness and all that stuff. But and again, I know I'm gonna get pounded for that, but you know what?
Here's
If you earn it, you earn it.
Here's
That's
something
right.
I always consider when I'm judging it. If I'm judging in a category and there's like maybe 4 or 5 of them that are really tight in there, I'll make a point of remembering that category so that I can
Yes.
when the awards are handed out, I can be around that area when they're picking up the models to help give advice on the reason they might have gotten a 4th or didn't get in the top 3, so I can
Right.
help improve their the
I
next
agree
time
with that.
the next time they come to a competition, they'll understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course everybody gets a little butthurt if they didn't make the top 3, but
Yeah.
if somebody's there to help you out a little bit, you always hear, I want to talk to the judges. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
boy.
I've heard that.
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah.
Now, to echo
No problem.
something Fred said earlier, when he mentioned he's not going to judge, was it airplanes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been at shows where and overheard people judging cars, for example, and one say to the other, and this wasn't that long ago, one said to the other, I don't know why they have me over here. I build tanks. I don't know anything about these cars.
Yeah.
They have no knowledge of vehicles. It's just like, and I agree with Fred, I'm not going to judge airplanes. I don't know anything about them. I mean, I think they're cool, but if I don't have a knowledge of my subject, how am I going to judge it?
Yeah.
Just the opposite
IPMS
for me. The only
Nationals-
thing I won't judge is
Yeah.
tanks and whatnot. I
Yeah.
build everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Then again, too, Mark, I'm around aircraft all day. I sure as hell don't want to judge one.
No.
I work at Delta Airlines, so I'm like, nah, I ain't touching one. I don't even look at one.
I was at a show just a
Well,
little while
and
back.
you,
and had,
again, you do have to have some knowledge. I know IPMS
Yeah.
Nationals, they do want the judges to have knowledge of that base that they're judging.
Right.
But I think, and that's just my opinion, when you have somebody that exclusively loves armor, and there's nothing wrong with that, and
Yeah.
you go, well, we don't want you judging your stuff, so we're going to put you doing cars or whatever. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that's the
And if
right
you're
thing
coming
to
to the
do.
nationals, I'm one of the judges. So
Well, if you're judging on basics of modeling, rivet marks and or injection mold marks and mold pins or lines and that
Moline,
stuff,
yeah.
and cleanliness of the build and glue and fingerprint, that's fine. You can judge all categories on those,
yeah,
but you also have to have knowledge of the subject that you're going to judge.
absolutely.
And you
Yeah.
better have your ducks in a row because, like Jim said earlier, they're going to come up to you. They're going to ask for a judge,
Yeah, they're going to ask.
and you better be, and you got to have thick skin. Also, well,
Yeah.
they got to
You
have
do.
thick skin, but you also better have. Sometimes you might need a ball bat, but you know. But like last year, I can't remember at the Acme show we had some. We give away some awards that are judged by some of the Acme members. I was one of them, and after it was all said and done, I had that same thing. A gentleman come up to me and said, "What did you find wrong with mine that allowed so and so to win the award?" And I said, just get ready because I'm going to tell you what I saw. And, did he, I hope he took the advice and I hope this year he comes back and, again, like I said earlier, brings his A game and goes, I'm going to do better,
And
with
you can tell the difference
advice.
between looking for advice and I'm really just butthurt.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's very true.
Back in the mid '80s, I had a competition with a guy in North Carolina, a buddy. He's passed away now, but I had a couple years. I'd be first in the NASCAR class, then he'd be first, then I'd get another one. But that competition, it was between us. It wasn't about anybody else. It was whether if somebody else finished first and one of us finished second over the other one. And I would always write on the bottom of that trophy, hold a piece of tape, never again. I wanted to outdo him, and it was fun. It was fun. So I always looked even more in my research to try to outdo not just him, but myself in what I was doing, and that was fun.
Yep, and that's
So
what you're supposed to be
we
doing.
made it. We made it more of a competition than it needed to be. But you know what? We were both still having fun, and went to dinner after. I remember in near Asheville, North Carolina. Both went in the restaurant of the hotel where the show was and sat down and had dinner together that night too. We just had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've
but
done
having
that with some
competition
friends.
between a couple of guys or other people, and it didn't matter which one of us won. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it was fun. But I did want it. But you do have that competitive part of you that just you still want to outdo him just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, that's fun. That's
And
fun.
again, like Jim was saying too, it's fun to be recognized. Life doesn't revolve around that.
Mhm.
This friendship that we have and the fun that we have with this hobby, that's enough.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
enough for me.
Well, it
Yeah.
also brings you two up to another level. Like it pushes you. You know, if you have someone that you're competing with constantly at shows, it just pushes you up. Like it's going to make
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sharpen your pencil that much more. I think that's healthy in competition. You know, competition
Yeah,
is about raising the bar. You know,
yeah.
and having competition's good. It's healthy to have it.
Hmm.
absolutely, it is. It
I
helps.
know. I know when someone pointed out I did a NASCAR bill. I built quite a few NASCAR now, but
Jeez.
yeah, I did a NASCAR bill where
Cut him some slack, Luka.
I learned I learned how to do a certain technique, which was actually building a window net that folds down just like it would be on a real car. I
Mm.
learned that from Clay Kemp. I watched one of his videos. I did that, and the show that I took it to, Clay wasn't there, but when I brought it to the Atlanta show, Clay seen that, and I said, Clay, I learned how to do that on yours, and he looked at that and he was like, wow, that is top notch. And I was like, well, thank you. He's like, no, thank you for letting me see this. I said, I just want to let you know that I learned that. So I took that car to another event that year. Mark remembers this, and it was at the Hope It Don't Snow show that year, and I brought home a very prestigious award from that. From
your
that
Budweiser car?
Yep, that was my Darrell Walsh.
That is a
Budweiser
nice.
car.
That is a nice model.
And it's when you go to a show, if you learn something from some of the content creators on YouTube, let them know. Let them know hey, I watched this. I learned this from you. That's
why we do it.
That's rewarding enough, for anything. People tell me all the time, hey, I watch you when you pro street something. I learned how to do this. That's a sweep for me right there. I don't need these awards that we get. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a trophy.
Everybody likes it.
I'm not a trophy. I don't want to say that word, but I'm not a trophy hound. But guess what? I got to dust these things. I got to hang them up on the wall, and I got to dust them each month. So,
I should dust mine.
Well, I'm of the opinion that if you're in it for trophies, don't go to a show. Save up the money from the entry fee and go buy yourself one.
There you go. Yeah. About getting a trophy given to you. Yeah.
Well, on the other side of that coin, there are the people who are there for the trophies, and they're trying to, they're really trying to get up there, and I respect that. And there's a few people in the clubs that I belong to that usually get a hold of me a couple months before the show to do some prejudging on their vehicle.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that I can give them all, and I'm telling them I'm going to be merciless. So get ready.
Yeah.
And
you should
they're always grateful. And then when I see it at the show a few months later, they've taken it to heart. So, and I'm, that makes me feel good that I was able to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had a gentleman over here the other day. He's a military builder, and he wanted to learn how to do decaling over flat paint without having to gloss coat it. So we sat in my build area for probably 3 hours decaling this German aircraft, and man, he learned a lot, and he was really grateful for it. And the airplane looks beautiful now. So,
that's awesome. Another thing, Jim. That's genres crossing genres right there.
Because
model building.
As automotive builders, we were like in the background to the IPMS guys who were doing these ultra detail stuff, and there might have been 15, 20 of us in the whole model car world doing that level of stuff. And now most of us are doing that and even stepping it into weathering. If you got something that's, been, doing a lot of track racing and it's not clean, and just making it look a little worn, a little extra patina. We're even going to that, level of work. And I really appreciate that a lot when I see stuff
fun
like
to
that.
do. I like that a lot. Yeah.
When photo etch was new a while back, I learned the best techniques for bending and stretching photo etch from two guys that are shipbuilders, from how they do railing and how you can bend and stretch and move it around. These shipbuilders,
heat it up.
So different genres of modeling. You can blend that stuff together and learn a lot.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, good information.
Absolutely.
And just because it's on the photo etch pad doesn't mean you need to use it, because some of the photo etch won't help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some of it don't help.
Jim, talking about, just because it's on the fret don't mean use it. But, when people ask me at shows, what, and I've had this might be a good topic for another show, but how much detail is too much detail?
I'm going to write that down.
Is there such a thing?
That's not the same thing, Jim.
Is there such a thing? I got to argue with that. There's no such thing.
Oh, good. That'll be a good show.
I'm writing it down.
Okay, Jim's
I can see already we're going to have mixed shots in there.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. I'll have you back on for that one. We'll have you back on, Jim.
But I've told. Well, there's a line that I've used. My mother used to use. It's called being too busy. It makes the model look too busy. In other words,
Sometimes,
yeah.
but
So
it depends on how you do it too.
yeah, true.
On
That's for
something
sure.
that was brought up,
Presentation has a lot to do with that. Yeah.
Exactly.
on something that was brought up in the conversation, that's kind of like the people that are there, they're there to just get, they're getting the award, but they're not really bringing their A game, but they think they are, and they get mad at the top builders that end up winning the awards.
Hmm.
And I'll get into that when it's more my turn. I do want to bring something up. Quite a few years back, I was in this club, and this kind of bothered me. Bothered a lot of us. A lot of us left the club because of this. There were a couple of builders in the club that were high level modelers, won at all the shows, even up in Salt Lake, and so these guys were heavy hitters. And to me, I felt so fortunate when I joined that club in my early days, that there were these Salt Lake City winning level builders in my club. I was like, I'm so lucky, and I became good friends with them, and I would do exactly what we all say, because we had a little competition every month. We had a theme. We'd bring our models, you'd bill for it, and it was really fun. And it was how I was able to get better, because I'd build a model for those themes, and those guys would have the same models, and they would always beat me. But it was like, okay, can you tell me what I need to do to improve? And I would do it over and over again until one day, and I'll never forget it. It was Pro Street, Fred. I brought a Pro Street, and I beat one of those guys, because I knew he was a heavy Pro Street builder that had one up in Salt Lake, and I won. My car won against his, and it was a trophy. It meant so much to me, because I got better because of them, and because of their input, and they were happy for me. It was really cool. As years went on in this club, different people came in. You had these builders that they would never win. Everybody would be the same people would be taking the awards, and instead of them taking the attitude I had, they were like, it's not fair. I don't build at your level. And so instead of elevating themselves to their level, they would rather you dumb it down to them so they have an opportunity to compete. Or better yet, what they ended up doing, this one guy took it upon himself, started making phone calls to all these builders that were in the club for a long time, always winning, asking them, could you stop bringing your models to the meeting? Or if you do, don't put a placement card down so people vote for you. Give others a chance to win.
Are you kidding?
And everybody had
Wow.
the same answer, and they were all like, hey, we'll one up you. We'll just stop coming. And then we all started a new club.
Yeah, that's a
And-
great way to kill a kill a show, kill a
Totally.
club.
You
Also,
can kill. You can kill. So that was, this whole come down to our level so we have a chance to win type of thing is like, well, that does you no good. Don't you want to if winning an award is so important to you,
go buy
work
you one.
your skills up to be able
Yeah.
to beat the people that that have been beating you all the time.
Mhm.
And it's a friendly thing too. It's like do it with respect. It's all about having some respect too. All the guys that used to beat my butt, that taught me everything I knew, and eventually I could compete with them. I had a huge respect. As a matter of fact, I have an award here I had sitting down. I had found this one I hadn't had up on the wall. I want to put it on the wall, and it is a third place from this show from many years ago, say '98. And this is one award that means so much to me, because I entered this class thinking I had it. It was replica class. And I had my little Grumpy's toy, 68 Grumpy's toy. Some of you have seen that car. I was really proud of that car. I really thought I had a chance. And then these two other guys decided to enter that class. One was Ron Ramsey, who's an amazing drag race builder. Builds a lot of drag race stuff, and he's a guy who sweeps out of California. And Don Farney entered those classes. Don won first, Ron won second, and I won that third. And I was so honored to be on the podium because there was a lot of other models in that class, and I got to be on the podium with two modelers I had immense respect for and learned a lot from. And it was all cool. They came and looked at my model, and I looked at theirs. And to me, putting a model on the table and having builders that you respect come up and go, "Oh wow, man, that's better than any award." And then hey, what do you think of this? Well, you know what, this is great, but if you start, be careful of this or that, and you could, and make sure you clean it up a little bit here when you're building, and you'll definitely get there. And that's kind of the thing that this whole, I think, well, I'm now getting into my thing. Totally skipped Chris. Before I go on any further, and I wanted to just tell that story, I'll bring it back after Chris because he's got something to say. So, Chris, why don't you say what you got to say?
All right. This is a topic, you reached out to me a little over a week ago, or maybe a week ago, about this. And this is something, as I told you, I'm so torn over. And I will start off by saying I love going to shows for the camaraderie. My wallet hates going to the shows for the shopping. But unlike Jim and Irv, I am competitive, and I like winning awards at shows. And I feel like I was spoiled because when I came back to the hobby as an adult, the first show I went back to, I brought home a top 5. And then it felt like every local show I went to, I was winning at least one award. And then a few years after that, I went to my first national show. I went to the last GSL, and I was putting models down on the table, and I was thinking, man, I don't even know if I belong in this room, right?
Yeah.
But that competitive part of my brain, the logical part of my brain, hates the idea of no sweeps, right? The judging is what it is. The numbers are what they are. And as most of us have said, if one person brings more than one model that's deserving of an award, they deserve that award. But at the same time, I see how people feel left out when that happens. I agree with y'all that in an ideal world, that modeler would look at the models that won and say, okay, how can I bring myself up to that level? They would talk to the builder, say, hey, how did you do this? Can you share some ideas with me? But I think that's only part of the story, too. Something that I think Irv touched on is that judges are human, right? And so all judging has biases, whether it's what styles of builds do you like. If you see the name of the builder on the sheet, that can bring in bias just in and of itself. And when you have multiple teams of judges walking around a show judging different classes, there are going to be some inconsistencies there, especially if the club hasn't really spent a lot of time training the judges beforehand to get on the same page and get very consistent. And so when you bring in a no sweeps rule, one of the cool things that I think it can do is it can kind of force judges to look a little bit outside of just the strict, okay, this is first, this is second, this is third. And it allows judges to maybe take note of things like, okay, this build isn't perfect, but this kit is a notoriously difficult kit to build, and this is a really nice example of that kit. Or this build isn't perfect, but we know that this is this modeler's first show. This is like their first model or their second model they've built. And given that context, this is a really excellent model. So I think it allows for a little more subjectivity in the right ways in judging. But I was telling Matt about kind of a personal story from our club's show, Outcast Plastic Modelers in Denver. Our 2025 show, we faced quite a bit of controversy. So we had a judged show, and we had some people come from out of state to our show, which was great. One of those people was Chuck, and we all know Chuck is genuinely a world-class builder. He goes to the big national shows and wins awards there. And like that's just kind of the brutal truth of it. And that's not to say that Colorado doesn't have great model builders. It does. There are a lot of really talented builders in Colorado. But what we've noticed about a lot of the Colorado builders is they don't necessarily travel to the other shows. And so they're maybe more used to going to shows and winning awards at every show they go to. And they're just not necessarily used to having such stiff competition. So at our show last year in 2025, Chuck brought home like 14 awards, and there were a lot of people that were really kind of upset about that and felt left out. And I'll say, like, there were two things that are true about our show in 2025, and the first is that we could have done a lot better of a job training our club members on how to judge. I'm a big data nerd, so our judging was all done on mobile forms that judges had on their cell phones that all reported back to a spreadsheet all of the scores and everything in the spreadsheet, did all of the calculations and the tabulations. But one of the things we tracked was which judging teams submitted which scores. And after the show, we looked through that and we realized that the team judging the light truck class had wildly different standards than the team judging the hot rod class, for example. We had one team of judges that gave 0 10s and just like a couple 9s. And we had another judging team that didn't give a score below 4, right? So within classes, that's not such a big deal. But then across classes, for like best in show and things like that, that starts to cause some issues when you have some of that inconsistency. But the other thing that's true about our show is I don't think the judges got it wrong. Like we did, some of us that are more experienced with judging, we were checking in with some of the newer judges, and we made sure that anybody who was newer to judging was on a team with more experienced judges. But any one of our judges could have pointed out exactly why they gave the scores they did on a certain model. But at the end of the day, we didn't feel great about kind of how some people left our show feeling. And we looked back and kind of realized, we formed our club to bring people into the hobby, to really foster the growth of hobby, and especially make newcomers to the hobby, whether they're youth or adults, really make them feel supported and welcome and encouraged. And we had kind of inadvertently violated our own mission as a club by how the awards kind of shook out at that show. Whether or not they were objectively correct, that was still kind of the side effect. So for this year's show, what we did, and I thought this was a really kind of cool hybrid to do, is we did sort of what we called a hybrid NNL style. So everybody that walked through the door as just a spectator, they got a sheet where they got to pick their favorite from each class, and then they got to pick their favorite overall. Anybody that came and entered models, they got a slightly different sheet where they got to pick their favorite from each class, but they couldn't pick their own. And then they also got to pick their top 3 favorite builds. And then we gave out a best of each class as picked by the spectators and the participants. We gave a best in show as picked by everybody. Then we gave like top 5 builders choices. So that was the among the people that brought models, the top 5 favorite there. And then we as a club went around and did what we call our Masters Awards. So we picked the one that we thought had the best paint, the best interior, the best engine, which still allowed us to kind of give our feedback as well, but it was no longer such a strictly numerical decision. And it worked really well. And one of the cool things too is that we as a club got to just spend more time enjoying the show too. We weren't like tied to the tables with our faces 3 inches from a model all day. We got to talk to people. We got to actually look around at the rest of the show and see what was there. And we got a lot of great feedback from this year's show. So I think that's how we're going to move forward is kind of taking a lot of the NNL concepts and then still giving out some awards as a club, but really moving away from the strict, every car gets a score for interior paint, blah 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 blah. Just in the spirit of really getting back to what our mission is as a club, more than anything.
So another aspect I run into in judging over the last couple of years is some competitions have tried to eliminate the first, second, third by doing a gold, silver, bronze for everybody.
Yeah.
And you got to be. It takes forever to judge, but I see where they're going with it, and you as a judge become uber critical about everything because you don't want to get a person a gold medal unless it's just over the top excellent.
Yeah, deserving of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a lot of silver and bronzes, and then you also got your amounts where they don't get anything, if it doesn't qualify for a bronze. But I find that can alleviate a lot of butthurt stuff.
Yeah.
With competitions, but it's expensive to go down that path.
Yeah, for the club.
Because
for the club, right?
You're given a lot of medals.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was at one of those, and I immediately gave back all the medals that I won. I said, I know how much these cost. Use them next year because I don't need them anyway. But that's another aspect, but it's completely different than your clubs, Chris. That because it's you're spending your entire time judging, and I like to go. So it's the time where I get to see people I haven't seen in 6 months, and
exactly,
and just chit chat and see what they're doing.
Yeah. With like what Chris was talking about with their club, handing out, giving, when you come in, you hand them a sheet, to pick your best, pick your picks for that you see on the tables. We are, as far as Acme, we're kind of piggybacking off of that, but we're getting away from the paper ballot because there's been some controversy over the years of people padding, ballot boxes, which anybody could, give me a sheet, and the next thing you know, you got a following of particular builders that here's a sheet, here, vote for me, and next thing you know, you got a sweep.
I ran into that yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one way now, next year, I say next year, which our Acme show coming up, we're still talking about this. We're talking about when you enter our show, either online or the day of, you will receive what are these things right here? Little personal computers.
It's a camera.
A camera, and you will have a UPC code, which it does all the, basically each entry will have a UPC code. You'll take a picture of it and it goes to a database and it does all the work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got some of our, Chris, I'm not calling you a computer nerd. Don't be mad at me. We got some computer nerds in our club. So
they're valuable.
But they are valuable, and they are working on this. They implemented our online registration to a streamlined process last year, which worked phenomenally.
It was awesome.
Thank you, Irv. We appreciate hearing that.
Excellent.
And we got that implemented for our show this coming year again, and hopefully the judging may. I'll know more about it at the upcoming meetings, but that'll be hopefully to eliminate what we're talking about today of somebody walking out with everything. It'll eliminate that confusion and that butthurtedness.
Yeah. Hey, are you guys still back to like what you started doing last year? Is only entrants can vote, no more just anybody coming in?
Yep, sure is.
I like that
not the
so much better
spectators,
than
only the entrants, and I think that's good.
Only
Again, that
really
goes
think
back
that's
to your
better.
peers.
Yep. When you enter each year, like if you enter online or if you enter, the day of, that you're the only one who will get the ability to possibly, go down through there and pick pick the ones that you like. So,
that's
And Fred, you guys actually went before you started this a few years back. They started numbering the ballots that went out.
yeah.
So if somebody dashed out to make copies or whatever, that wasn't going to work because they had them numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
On
That
ours,
was good.
Thank you.
on ours, if you were a builder, we wrote your name at the top of your ballot, and when you brought it in, we put your votes
Yeah,
in
yeah.
your column
Good.
on the spreadsheet. And if the system was set up that if somebody voted for their own, it just kicked that vote out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having you computer guys at our disposable, not disposable, but at our feet, yeah, we like that. So
Yeah, definitely.
and it's could be like last year at our show. We had some yeahs, and next thing I know, somebody, Fred, we need you to come over here, and I'm coming over. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Oh, I know about that one.
Yeah, you know about that one. I'm not going
I
to
know
mention no
about
name. You know who we're talking
You're
about.
not
Yeah.
ever going to make everybody happy, too, right? That's
No.
just a reality.
Exact, Chris,
Yeah.
right there.
Nope.
We use, and I've
But
used.
sometimes
this a
there's
lot.
people. Sometimes there's people that are really not happy and
Right.
like over the top. That need a little bit of taking
I-
by the
I'll
shoulder.
Some
tell you-
people just
Again.
want to complain about everything.
Again, go to the trophy store, buy yourself one.
Exactly.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I use P.T. Barnum's. One of the things P.T. Barnum, the big circus guy, used to say was, "You can please some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all of the time." So
That's for sure. Well,
Some people aren't happy unless you're unhappy with them.
that's
Right.
true. That's
Well,
very
there
true.
are people that love their misery and want to share it.
Yeah.
Yes.
true that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it could
see-
be.
I see it a lot in this hobby.
I've
Yeah,
been to
it
shows
is.
where I walk
Unfortunate.
into the building and it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Jim's
Well-
here. I don't know if I.
Been to a few of those.
Yeah. Well, my take on the whole no sweeps, and I've said it before, but I got a kind of a from a different point of view. But first of all, I am not a fan of the no sweeps rule. I've never liked it. In the Southwest, it wasn't something. It just seemed like it wasn't a thing out here. When I moved to Virginia, that's when I started finding out about, it seemed to be back east, there was more no sweeps rule type of things going on at the shows. And I'd go to the shows and I'm like, "Oh, what is this no sweeps you talk about? This is odd." So I already, from my first experience of going through the shows, in my early years, it just wasn't a part of it. So it was kind of in my programming. And if you brought 3 kits and they were the best, 3 builds, they were the best, they won. That was it. And it just seemed, and I don't know, I never really saw any troubles with that, people complaining or anything. But it's kind of already been touched. Like Jim definitely said it very well. It's like if someone, and like Jim and me, I know people say, well, don't build for just one class if you want to bring a lot of models. Well, it doesn't always work out that way. Like there's some guys that all they do is build drag race models, or all they do is build NASCAR models. And so let's say I build 3 NASCAR models over this past year. I've put everything into them to be competitive. I want to take them to shows, show them, be competitive, and I place them in in the NASCAR class of this show. I built these models over the year. I go to the show, we go to all the shows are once a year. So this is what I did this year. I place it into my class, and 2 of them get bounced because of the no sweeps. And I'm kind of like, well, then why should I even try that hard anymore? Next year I'm just going to bring 1 model. On that side of the coin, let's look at putting on, which I've put on, model shows. I want to get, as a model show promoter, I want to get as many models on the table as possible. And I also, call me elitist, I want high-end builders, as many as possible, bring in as many of their high-end builds to put on the table. I am trying to build, when I started shows, I was trying to build these shows to be, high echelon shows, that would pull in nationally. And that was always my thought, and whenever I would create a show. So that's kind of my point of, like, I wouldn't even dream of having no sweeps because I wouldn't want to turn those guys off. And I would hope that, and maybe I could figure out ways of doing things to satisfy the guys that don't do so well. But I'm also of the opinion, if you want to beat these guys, then elevate yourself to that. Now, let's say now I'm one of them. From this point of view, I place my model that I've killed myself all year. I think I'm going to win. And I am building this really cool vintage road race car. And I come in, and Jim Drew just dropped three of the most amazing road race cars down, as he does. And I put mine down, and it's just like, I don't have a shot. And at this show, no sweeps, wham, wham, wham. He won first, second, and third. But my opinion is, if there was a no sweeps rule in this thing, he won first, his other two get knocked out, and I win a second. I personally don't feel like I deserve that second. I'm one. I must be a rarity. The award doesn't mean that much to me. The actual physical,
Yeah.
piece of hardware doesn't mean that anything to me. I want to place and get a second behind Jim and maybe have beat his other two cars because my car deserved to be there.
Yep.
I want to build that good to be able to compete with Jim, with Mark, with Fred, all you guys, and I want to win over your models because I deserved it, not because your second model there gets bounced because of no sweeps, and I got the second place where your model was really better than mine. And and I kind of like, I've had a lot of awards that were felt given to me that I don't put them on the wall. I kind of, I look at all my awards and I remember winning them and why, and I try to put little notes on them, and they all have a special memory and a feeling to me, and an accomplishment. And to me, that I don't get a sense of accomplishment if I only won because of a no sweeps rule. So that is my take on no sweeps. Not everybody feels this way. I understand, but that's how I'm just not a participation ribbon. It's kind of funny. I was not athletic at all. And I kind of was pushed into athletics because I came from an extremely athletic family. And, growing up, there was always these shelves full of awards that all my brother and my sisters and my father and mother, they won all this stuff. I always saw trophies. I never won trophies. And I remember in Pee Wee football, I got a participation trophy. And I was like, and they put it up on the mantle with all these places and medals and stuff that everybody won, and I was kind of like, I didn't care. I wasn't into it. It meant nothing to me that it was going to. Which, by the way, I actually still have it. I did.
Must have meant something
So
to
it
you.
did mean something to you.
Well, later on, it did. It was at my parents' house, and later on in years, it was like, hey, that was cool because of it's just something from my childhood, and I thought, yeah, I'll take this thing. Instead of it getting thrown out. But
You put the effort in. That was what that trophy was for.
What's that?
You put the effort in. That's what that
Yeah,
trophy was about.
I
You
went to
worked.
practice every day and stuff like that. I guess it's not a good example. I blew that one out of it. But quite honestly, participation trophies, just, I don't know. It's just, well, I don't know. Participation it depends on how you look at it. It's probably not a good example, but what no sweeps creates is kind of like, you really didn't, your model didn't win the award, didn't really win that award when there was one that was really better. And I know there has been this thing that people bring up. Well, is it the model winning the award or is it the builder? And I kind of think that's a cop out because
Yeah, that's a cop out.
the
Yeah,
model is winning the award, but the builder's winning the award. It's both. It really is. And that's where, if this builder built three of the best models in that class, he deserves those three awards. So him as the builder deserves those awards, and those three builds deserve the recognition of being the best three on the table. And that's really how I put it.
I've taken 2 sweeps in my life, and
Yeah.
both of them, my concern was usually, okay, why did this one make second place and this one first place? Because I think my second
Yeah,
place is
yeah.
better than the first place.
You
I
can't
need to
win.
talk to somebody.
You can't win. The judges can't win.
Yeah.
Let me ask another question.
And
Let
that's
me ask
my
another
point.
question.
What's going on?
Yeah.
If
The
do you
word is
feel-
judge.
do you-
It's judgmental.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I usually tell them when they, why didn't it? Well, that's what the judges came up with. And here's where you can have improvement, but I see your point. So,
Yeah. So, Irv, what were you going to ask?
let me ask another question. Do you feel, as some of us are YouTubers, do you feel YouTubers have more advantage as far as trophies at shows because we have more exposure and maybe show that model? People recognize that model more from our exposure on YouTube than other modelers.
That's an interesting.
there's probably a
I-
percentage
I
of that. Plus,
Yeah,
plus the ones in the magazines too. If you got something
I
that's been
kind of have
published
I kind of have a
and it shows up at a
thought. Yeah, I kind of have a theory on that. I've discussed this before with a few people. I think lots of times, not just YouTube, but people who show the build as it's being built and it's on Facebook. It's kind of happening now because of the social media, and even back in the day when it was just the magazines and your model would show up in a couple of magazines. There would be kind of the model would start getting notoriety and it would start getting kind of a celebrity to it. So when people come to that show and they know that builder's there and they've been watching this model, they are kind of excited to see it. And when do, it's
Yeah.
like meeting
Yeah.
a celebrity.
Oh, you get a lot of, hey, thanks for bringing that. I was wanting to
Yeah.
see that. You
Yeah,
get that
exactly.
too.
Yeah.
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 So
I had-
they tend to, kind of.
I had somebody, I can't remember. I think it was at the Jacksonville show that I went to, and God, when did we go? It was this year. February. February. Thank you, Mark. See what happens when you move? You can't remember nothing. But there was a gentleman that came down there to see. He comes down there every year, but he was like, "Did you bring the car that you wrote the article about in Auto Modeler magazine?" I was like, "Yes, I did." And he was like, "But somebody that was talking with him, I just happened to walk up when they were talking about it. They said, 'Well, don't you think he would get enough exposure? He's on YouTube and he wrote an article for Auto Modeler.'" I stepped in and I said, "Maybe you ought to write an article. It's not that hard."
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
guess
it's not
what?
hard.
You get just as much. You can get just as much exposure with your something that you would put in yourself. And I don't know if I peed in his oatmeal or what, but I mean, it's just as easy for you to do that as it is for me. Everybody has that same.
Starting at YouTube.
Yeah, everybody has that same. I mean, a lot of people. I've had people tell me not tell me, but I've heard, they think that us as content creators are hard to talk to. I would talk to the devil himself. I mean, I'll talk the ears off a billy goat, and it's just we're accessible. If you want to learn something, or if you want to talk about a technique that some of us do, I know. That's how I met this fella sitting right below me right here one time. I watched one of Mark's videos years ago, and then finally we got face to face and we talked, and we bonded a friendship off of that. But I was building that Polar Lights kit, which was the Talladega.
Oh,
and it's the one that has the upwards swept fenders. And Mark did a tutorial on it, and I got a hold of Mark, and he showed me how to correct that. I fixed it from there forward, and I took that model to a show, and I won first place in NASCAR, and I was just like, wow. And people was asking me, they said, well, how did you learn, or how did you correct that? I said, I watched Mark Batson, Hobby 007's video of how to correct that. And the comment that came out of their mouth was, "Oh, you can talk to people like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're accessible."
Yeah,
So
it's not just the content creators. It's,
yeah.
if you're a national award winner,
entourage.
people come in and go, "Well, I can't talk to him. He's, does he
yeah.
want to talk to me? He's a celebrity." No,
No,
stop
we
it.
we are not
This is model
celebrities.
cars,
Yeah.
guys. We're
We're
not
just model car
celebrities.
builders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the guy that came down to Jacksonville last year brought his copy of Scale Auto Automodeler Enthusiast, and can I get your autograph? I'm like,
Oh, now you're
oh
showing
my
off.
God, no! I was like,
Hey,
and I was just
with
like,
those scale autos,
pinned
all
it
those
out.
scale
I'm like,
autos,
Fred, I am
I
with
have
you. That
people.
totally blows my mind to sign something. I'm like,
yeah, I
oh,
was just
okay.
like, yeah. I'll sign a check for you, but
I've had people do that with all those scale autos in the past that I had.
Yeah,
They want me to autograph it. It's awkward, guys. I mean,
man,
really?
exactly. Would you sign the
Uh,
cover of this magazine? Okay.
I'm like, sure.
I mean,
If I
Josh,
get let me get my
It is kinda
Sharpie. Always
awkward.
carry
It's
with me.
model cars. I mean, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, but does it give us the big head? I mean,
Well, yeah, a little bit. It does.
just a little
Huh?
bit. It does, yeah. But it's fun.
In
I mean,
context.
we're human beings. We're easily accessible. Again, I will talk to the devil himself, or is that my old saying? I talk the ears off a billy goat. So,
I love to give
but
advice,
we're all
but only ask for.
we're talking about this one thing that bonds us all together: plastic.
Plastic.
What we enjoy.
Yep.
So another thing that was coming to my mind about sweeps too is and I've never been in a position where I've brought home like a metric crap ton of models at a show, but a lot of times when you're at a show where one guy is just winning award after award after award, most of the time that one guy starts to kind of feel embarrassed too, right? He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
really? Can't you give some of these to somebody else?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, you get up there and they say, "Don't go away."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at smaller shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If there's not a lot of volume there, and you bring a couple cars, it's very easy to do, I guess. If
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Like yesterday at our show, they were like, I had people that know me, and they were like, "Where's your stuff?" I said, "I don't enter my own shows.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen."
There's some clubs here in our area that they don't allow the club members to enter any of the local
Yeah,
shows.
I don't think we
That's
should,
their
but
show.
I was outvoted. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always kind of
Yeah,
a thing. That's a tough one because sometimes all the modelers locally are in the club, and then there's no models on the table because they can't enter. So how do you deal with that? But
Yeah.
that's a subject for another show, I think.
Yeah.
could be.
It's an interesting subject. But anyways, guys, wow, that was actually some really great discussion. This really turned out awesome, and I think it was positive. I really do. We definitely want to hear your opinion on this down in the comments below, please. And all of us, we check on the comments and answer if you have any questions to any one of us here. Definitely, throw it out there. But
Especially if you have judging questions.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're here for. So
Or-
I definitely
or
always
if you,
everybody that's on an episode, I encourage them to keep an eye on the comments, and anybody's directing anything to any one of you, they'll sit there and comment back to you. So yeah, it's an interesting subject, something that I felt needed to be talked about. It gets some people kind of edgy, but I think we kept that at a good level. I think it's something for everyone to think about. There's really both ways to look at it. I mean, is one
Even
way
though all six
wrong
of
or
us
the
are on the same boat.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. You know, it kind of also Chris brought up great points of you know, it's how you look. What's best? It kind of almost would be what's best for what show, what region you're in, or something. But oh, what's that?
Uh
Okay, hold on. I'm recording. Let me write that down.
Edit time.
Matt, you don't need a clicker.
Anyway.
You need an on-air light.
On there.
I know. I got to put an on-air light out there.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to build one of those now.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna have
In
to build
scale.
one.
Build it in scale.
Yeah.
No, actually,
Only
no.
one thing.
I'll put it right up there on there.
There you go.
I thought about it. But so I want to thank you guys all for coming on. This was some great discussion, great viewpoints and everything. Something for everyone to think about. And you know, the main thing is, you know, just have a good time. Go to shows. Don't get the one thing that always concerns me about people who do get discouraged because they go to shows and the same people win, as they say, or you know, someone sweeped. Which, you know, quite honestly, we all kind of said this when it comes to a no sweep rule. I kind of really never. It's kind of an anomaly. It doesn't always happen. It's not a constant thing, but it happens. And don't get discouraged. Go to shows, learn from those people that are winning if you want to get better and want to compete, or just meet some new friends and get into with people that do the same thing you do and are into the same thing you're into, and learn from one another and conversate, and you're definitely going to make some great lifelong friends. That's why all of us, I mean, that's the thing. None of us would know each other if it wasn't for model cars.
True,
that's right.
All to meet one another. So that's the main thing we always got to remember about this hobby and what's made it great for so long, and how it's getting better. Something, you know, I bring up Tim Brown from Throttle Power always says, it's the best time to be a car modeler.
Amen.
Really,
Mhm.
it is. So
Yeah.
And if we hurt anybody's butt today, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Mentholatum. So rub a little bit of that on there.
that's right.
And
All
if
right,
you do
so-
participate in the comments,
Yes.
Luka will give you a participation trophy for.
Yeah, it'll be a
comment.
little heart. I'll give everybody a participation trophy. All right. Well, Fred, we'll start with you and saying the goodbyes.
No, we really do appreciate everybody coming in today and listening to the Knuckleheads. Chris, Jim, you're an official Knuckleheads now. So
Yep.
but we do appreciate y'all sitting and listening to this. If you got any comments or anything, drop them down in our comment section. Some of us that we are accessible. We will quickly answer your comment or email, whatever. But always come back. Appreciate everybody again. If you ain't got anything else better to do, drop down to me at West Georgia Rides and Customs on the YouTube and on the Facebook. You can find me on the Luka C page as well. And I'm gonna hand it off to this little feller. Damn, I don't know my left from my right.
Take it
Over
to
here.
him.
I'm on YouTube, Arterake, and I am on Facebook. I'm on a lot of the popular pages that are on there. You can see me on there a lot. That's about it. Down the gym.
Well, thanks for the invite. I always appreciate to come on with Luka and you guys, and I will appreciate any future invites as well. I'm only on Facebook with regard to the GTP racing cars group. So
That's
you
a
can-
fun. I really like that.
yeah, we got
There's some
over
amazing
10,000 participants in it, and
Wow.
140 countries. So it's
Yeah,
it's-
we'll have a link to it in the description below.
Yep.
there you go. But
Always.
thanks again.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Yes, definitely. Mark.
And it's Mark Batson, Hobby Dude 007 on YouTube and Facebook. So check it out. We look forward to seeing your comments here too.
That we do.
Absolutely. Chris.
Awesome. I'm Chris Bell, Scale Speed Garage. We are the place online for 3D printing in the model car world. We're on all, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Find us all there. Scale Speed Garage, easy to find. I would just say build for fun, but challenge yourself and try and get a little better every build. And take the Pixar approach. Try and learn one new technique with every project you do.
Make
That's
each build
Well said.
better than the last.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is me, Luka C, aka Matt. You know where to find me. You're on my channel if you're watching this, or this could be you could be listening on Spotify. Then go over to my channel. Links are in the description. And I got other things. I got Luka C products. I make this little resin garbage that some people. Oh yeah, look at that, Fred, my pal Fred. He's working with one of my items, the back half. He gave me seal of approval earlier today. That meant a lot to me. That was almost as great as a trophy. So thank you all. Irv, thank you very much. By the way, Irv showed off one of my products with that Monza, man. I appreciate that. That's how beautiful. And
That's cool.
all you guys, we all support one another. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. It's been a blast, and I think when Fred's on here, he's got his little call out that I always like him in the show. Well, Irv, you got yours.
No, go ahead. Fred's been away for a while. I'll give him permission.
I have
Thanks.
I have reasons.
Irvin, but you still have yours. Don't forget.
Okay. All
You
right.
have your job.
All right.
Go ahead.
As I always say, folks, again, appreciate having y'all. And the way I close my videos are, if you can dream it, build it. God bless y'all.
Now, Irvin.
Here's the producers.
Boy, he was so elegant this time. Holy cow.
I went to school with that guy.
We had a
Well,
club contest
cool.
yesterday, and I had a lot of judging to do, so I'm
Oh,
for it.
really?
Come on.
Oh, good. Then this subject is, you're ready to go.
Yeah, and the strange thing is, the contest was a no sweeps contest.
Oh, really?
Even better.
You're quite knowledgeable about that today, then.
It wasn't me.
Soft.
Irvin,
What
what
am
I
I doing?
found.
What? Where'd you get that at?
I've had it. I finally found it, straightening up my place. I'm finding all kinds of things.
I know a better way to do that, Matt.
Probably.
It's called move.
Yeah, you find everything when you move.
No, you do not. Let me tell y'all a little side story on losing stuff and finding it. Vicky and I, when we moved a month ago, we couldn't find our remote for the TV to go in the living room. So, with that being said, we got all moved in. We got our TV to go in the living room. Can't find the remote. We tear this place up trying to find it. Finally, we just go, heck with it. Off to Best Buy we go. We buy a brand new TV, get it put up, get everything working. I decided I was going to have something better known as anal glaucoma. Didn't see my butt going into work last Tuesday. So guess what I found? I started just taking stuff out of the boxes. I found three remotes, one that I'm supposed to turn back into Xfinity, and the TV remote for the living room, which is now fixing to become our TV to go on the patio.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Anybody want to buy a TV?
Oh,
Is your-
Mark, less than 24 hours ago.
Oh, that's right. You guys had a show you all went to.
No,
And
it was
Chris,
a swap
this
meet.
It was just a swap meet?
No sweep swap meet.
No sweep swap.
No
Good,
sweep
fair enough.
swap meet.
You can only buy one. Can only buy one.
Oh, we went down the rabbit hole fastest. We haven't even started yet.
Really quick.
I know. It's going downhill.
To start it off, now we have 3 guys with the clickers, but you know what? I also have this.
Uh-oh. Oh, a timer.
Hey,
Isn't that cool?
Old
that's
school.
kind of cool.
Man.
Kind of cool. And
Wow.
that could,
As long as it don't come to the screen, it goes.
I put that in later. So are you guys ready to start speaking our minds on this?
Well,
do it.
what are we going to do after 5 minutes?
Chris, when I asked Chris, he couldn't make it to the last one. So this like worked out because it was just the only ones last week that could do it was Irvin and Mark and I, and I was glitching out, so that kind of
that would have been a
good.
really short show.
Like when I asked Chris and he couldn't make it last week, he sent me a big manifesto. So now he can read it all. He's ready to rock with that.
I've
And
got
I
it
know
right
Jim-
here for notes. I'll try not to just read it directly from the screen.
It's good to discuss it. We'll be nice, I think. Well, I'm sure we'll make people mad. The comments will correct us.
Oh, sure.
Yes, they will.
Correct is the wrong word.
Irv, you got your board? All right.
Okay, and
I'll just do this.
I don't.
Oh, I like that, Chris.
That one's even better, Chris. I like that one.
I was in a club years ago.
I'll be right back.
I am. Okay. You want to take a break?
No, I'll be right back.
Okay. No
No,
problem.
y'all go ahead. Y'all can do this without me.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Do you guys want to take a break? Go pee pee or something?
I got pamper on.
Too much, Irv. Too much.
I didn't have to, but the power of suggestion, I have to.
Should break out the deck of cards, I guess, Irv.
It's you and me again. It's always you and me.
Tiki Cat. Who is that?
It's a new guy, Mike Trent. He's
Mike
just
Trent.
he hasn't started his channel yet, but he's got his
Mike Trent.
got his logo and stuff. We were talking to him yesterday.
I know. I'm confusing Mike Trent with her.
Now,
Will
Irv,
Trent
next
from
year,
TV.
Yeah.
That's where my channel started last year. I talked to Mark at this particular swap meet we were at, and it was shortly after that I started mine. So we kind of passed it on again this year to another guy.
I don't know about y'all. I live down here in the southern region of Georgia, in case you couldn't tell my accent.
What accent?
Jim, you said you're coming to South Carolina?
Yeah, I got a golf trip. Hilton Head.
Hilton Head.
Hilton Head, okay.
That's a good place to play.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where it's just, pushing 70. The frustration's coming out pretty bad. Distance, the skill's going away. All my buddies are in their 50s, and they make fun of me because I get to move up a tee box.
I love moving up that tee box. I love
I
it.
didn't think about
I
that.
told them I'll trade you your age for my tee box.
Irv yesterday how the name Hobby Dude came up. And people
That was
started calling me that years before I started the channel because I had so many hobbies. I shot competitively. I played golf. I built model cars. I had like 6 hobbies, and a couple of my friends are like, pick one, will you?
No.
They just started calling me Hobby Dude, so that's where that came from.
Any of y'all
finish
have a serious memory flaw recently?
Yeah, I constantly have them.
I ordered a 1954 Mercedes Streamliner from Fernando Pinto a month or so ago, and it shows up. And I said, cool, I'll have this to build. And I bring it downstairs to put it in the stash, right on top of the one I had bought before.
Something similar to that happened to me. I was telling Irvin before everybody else got on. So I've been like straightening up my room and my stash and stuff, and I have like right over here on this side of where I'm recording, nobody can see it. I have a wall like this. It's mostly my NASCAR kits and stuff, but I have stacked up as I've bought more kits since I've moved here. It's now like probably about 3 feet high and 2 or probably 3 kits outward in front of that wall. And I've been going through them trying to find new places to put all my kits and store them. And I found kits at the bottom of the pile that I completely forgot that I had, that I was actually thinking about. Man, I wish I had those kits. I think I sold those. I wish I wouldn't have sold those. I wish I had those.
I'll just go down and build this, and you can't find it.
Yeah, then you can't find
Swear
it.
I had that.
Yeah.
I know I got it. It's here somewhere.
Oh yeah, I got a few of that going on too.
That's how I thought. That's how I ended up with 2 of those Javelin AMXs, the Johan reboxings that testers did in the 90s. I thought I had sold the one I had in a kind of a bulk of models that I sold to a friend of mine that always vends at shows. And so then, like a year later, he had one on the table at the show, and I was like, "Man, I regret selling that to you." He said, "I don't think you sold this to me." I said, "No, I swear I sold this to you. I kind of regret it. I want to buy it back from you. You have to make a profit. What's your price?" And he said, "I'll give you the friend's price on it." And so I bought it, and I brought it home and went to put it on my shelf. An exact same thing as you, Jim. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it can go right
But
on
that's
top of the other one."
That's okay. It's a great kit. I
Yeah.
built it
Yeah.
when I was a little kid.
And we'll get fired back up. I'll finish my story.
You were talking. Yeah, that was
We
pretty
needed
fun.
we need some young gun in here, like really young guy, to give their opinion. That we were kind of
Yeah,
like
no, hope-
one-sided.
There's young people interested in model building. It's just not cars. Cars are not the huge thing with younger people as it was for us.
Put wheels on a Gundam. We'll get them.
Oh yeah. Boy, the Gundam stuff they love.
Well,
that.
the
They buy-
IPMS guys used to call us targets.
Aircraft and targets.
Yep. That's right. Cool.
That's funny.